That we are, and we have spawning up at the top right for Alpha X. It is Max Astrea Angel.
In the bottom left, in the blue for the Shopify Rebellion. She is the Queen of Blades looking to return to form. It's Scarlett.
And we got to point something out right from the get-go here. Scarlett has gone for a 15 hatch here. So that's Astrea was not able to get the hatch block. Very nice start here for Scarlett. Anytime you can prevent that hatch block, it's great. It's phenomenal. And it's quite a nuisance to deal with here for Astrea. Now, we are going to be seeing Astrea just trying to, you know, equalize things with this mineral harass. He's going to be really putting a little bit of extra oomph into that because, you know, when your opponent kind of gets the build or a counter on you just a little bit. It's weird to say that because it's a very soft counter. But you committed to that early probe, and then they cut the drone and get that hatch down. It's just an feeling. It's just blah. You don't like that, so you're gonna put a little extra pepper on it with this probe micro.
Yeah, and that's so if Astrea had gone and not gone for the probe block, this would actually be something that is minorly upsetting for Scarlett because you'd much rather have 16 hatch. It means your queens would line up much better. But as you say now, because the probe was sent across, because you lose that mining time, minor advantages for Scarlett and Steadfast. Remember, Scarlett and Astrea, they live in the same house. They are in, I don't know, I imagine maybe one or both of them went to a PC bong. I'm not sure.
Oh, she's doing the build! Oh my god, I told her about this build just before it started. I can't believe she's doing it. This is amazing. Okay, so Raynor in an ESL Cup against, oh my god, I'm so excited. In an ESL Cup against Max, he went for a +1 melee before Ling speed build, and he was able to kill Max Pax with it. Scarlett was asking as a bit of a meme, does anyone have any builds that can kill Protoss players? And I'm like, well, actually, Scarlett, let me let you in on a little secret. And here we go. She's actually going for it in the first game of the series. Now, this is interesting. She actually takes all 3 drones off gas now. It is a Ling Bane bust with this, but maybe, just maybe, she is going to go back onto gas. Maybe she has something a little bit different in mind. We're going to see. For now, Astrea, he's got no idea what she's doing.
No, nothing at all. And Steadfast, if this works, I think you need to start charging for coaching lessons. Or I need to think you need to start charging for coaching pro Zergs, because that would be next level play. Adepts now trying to find their way to the high ground. Only 4 links here, and actually she lets the Adepts in. They will not complete the shade though, so still, Scarlett denies the scout. Speed halfway done, melee halfway done, but no Baneling Nest just yet. And this should get scouted now. There's an Oracle on the map. We can assume that because of the map that it is inside and out, the third base not super vulnerable. And in fact, Scarlett getting the 15 hatch means that Astrea's not going to waste any time at the third base. So he will get the scout off. He's going to see the Evo chamber. And the question now is, how does he react? He's actually going to get a couple workers here because there are no spores. Ling is retreat, and actually, that's the secondary scout. You see that there is no Ling speed. You get 5 workers. You see the Evo chamber. But the question, Steadfast, as much as Astrea has seen things, has he seen this build? And does he see enough to put 2 and 2 together?
That is a good question, and I don't know if he has just yet. He's not building any additional shield batteries. He's moving out with his oracles and with his units. He does have a stalker in the wall, but there is no shield battery here. Scarlett is not getting a Baneling Nest with this. She is looking to pull the trigger, and Astrea, he's going to see these Lings flooding across the map. This could just be pressure on the third base. This has some potential to get a hell of a lot done. We're going to see a force field warping on in, though. Scarlett, she will kill this stalker. No, it will survive for the moment. Lings on the third base. Oh, they could kill this sentry, but it will drop the force field. Scarlett is really committing to this. And the Oracles use their energy initially. Scarlett will break through the natural.
But, okay, force field or sentry's out of energy. There's the warp in trying to make something happen. So Lings in the main, not a ton of them. This Adept will get Scarlett. That was a free Adept. Not going to get it, but in the main base, these +1 Lings, they absolutely shred. So 5 workers will go down. Looks like the number is going to be 7 or 8 before they end up getting knocked down here. As Scarlett continues to flood across. 14 more Lings on the way. And the Oracle's actually Steadfast. We have 2 of them. They're starting to run out of energy. But there is an Immortal in the wall, and I mean, good luck worrying through that. But also, no real shield batteries here. So as Adepts continue to warp in, this is just not cost effective for Astrea, I don't think. I feel like you just give up the third, hold on to the natural, because Scarlett is so committed to this that is absolutely fine. But maybe Astrea is just going to be able to hold on to the third. One Zealot, though, I don't think that's enough. And the Oracles, again, they're out of energy.
I was just going to say, now they are actually out of energy, and Scarlett will kill this third base. She's droning up behind us. She has done the damage she's needed to. This is not like Namshar versus Trigger before, where Namshar didn't kill any probes. Trigger was on, like, you know, a huge worker count. Scarlett started droning out of this pretty effectively. She's in a great position now in this game. She's evened up the worker count. She's still building drones, and Astrea is really in some trouble here.
Okay, so Astrea's adding 2 additional gateways. He's going up to 6. Looks like he just wants to go all in off of this, but he found himself heinously supply blocked by losing those pylons. I think there were 2-3 pylons at the third base, losing the Nexus as well. Queens are in wonderful positioning to make sure that these Oracles do not get the counter damage that Astrea needs. In fact, one goes very low. What was that, like 1 HP? Yeah, 4 HP. One more Queen shot would have killed it. But there we go. Sentry's getting warped in. Steadfast. It's Heart of the Swarm all over again. We got Immortals, we got Sentries. You ready for Choo-Choo?
It's looking like the Soul Train could be on the menu here. We do have Astrea. Looks like he does want to retake this third Nexus location, but most assuredly, he wants to get something done on the other side of the map. Scarlett is droned up to now 60. She builds another Spore, so it's going to be 59 here. She's in a great spot economically, but actually, hang on. Astrea might not even take this Nexus. He's got the money for it, but he is going to be going ham with the Stalker Warpins. That's where all the money goes. Can Scarlett hold on is the big question. This looks very tough to hold.
I think she may have overdroned a little bit, but as Astrea waffles a little bit longer, it looks like, okay, Adepts in the natural get 3 or 4 workers. That if you overdrone like this, you actually need to have your drones. But +1 melee lings are pretty powerful. +1 range soon enough. Good set of force fields here, but the Biles will knock them down. Lings at the front line, though. Normally this is fine, but great stasis. Great stasis there on was that 10 lings that are going to look to knock down all of these Stalkers. Normally it's fine. You let the lings through, you fight them off, but these are +1 lings. They are a lot feistier than we might otherwise expect, and there are not a lot of force fields remaining. What is that? 1 or 2 left. Good force fields right there, but they're going to get knocked down immediately. Now here come the lings moving forward. Second stasis, and that is a far more effective force field than even the force fields are, but lings again driving through. Scarlett did not overdrone after all. She's got plentiful lings, plentiful roaches, plentiful ravagers, and as the lings go forward, the Immortals start to take damage with the warpins here of more Zealots. Scarlett backs up for a second. And how much larva does she have? Only 3. She can inject the third just fine, but she can't really on the other 2 because the Queens all have to be the front side. If there's a world where Astrea pushes through, that will be the reason, but he's backing up. Third base, halfway done. That didn't happen. The Scarlett did not take the damage that Astrea needed.
No, she didn't. She is actually just fine. She did lose some drones, but keeps her third base alive, kills a lot of her opponent's sentries, ends up being a net win for Scarlett absolutely here. Now, she's got to be a little bit careful if she decides to go for some counter aggression here, but I don't think she needs to. Ooh, she is supply blocked brutally at 122 of 122. It is worth noting as well, Astrea doesn't have +1. He doesn't have a Forge, which means that his Zealots actually don't do great against this army. Ooh, Observer gets picked off there. Nice job by Scarlett. She's going to find a couple of the probes here. Corrosive Biles, not able to kill the Stalker right there, but she baits him out to the low ground and is going to get the wraparound on this army. The force fields are going to not be enough to keep these units at bay. Immortals do stay alive. Astrea, can he make the hold here? Corrosive Biles won't be able to take down the Phoenixes. Ooh, they do get a couple of sentries on the back end, but these Oracles are doing actually very well. Scarlett with a bit of an overcommitment here, I think.
Those Biles did not kill the Zealots, but they killed so many lings steadfast. And as these Oracles go home, they're out of energy now, but that was how many Ravagers going down? That was, 7 Ravagers, 41 lings. Yeah, sure, Scarlett's still in a decent spot, but that was, I think we can safely say, a pretty significant overcommitment from Scarlett, but she does have +2 attack on the way. She does have bailing speed on the way. Her army does continue to become more powerful. Meanwhile, Astrea, he is just trying to survive. But Scarlett, her 4th base only just now complete, only just now droning up past 60. She's been pretty economically all in for the last minute or so after she made that hold happen.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for, I would say, both players, because you can tell right here, Astrea doesn't know what's going on. He thinks it's mutas coming out of Scarlett, and he has thrown down a 2nd Stargate and +1 air weapons, and it simply is not mutas. It is It is just a commitment to ground from Scarlett. She does lose a couple of drones here on the right side, or just one drone maybe. Adding on a few more drones. Oh no, Astrea losing an Immortal in the middle of the map. That is a brutal loss right there. And the Disruptors are going to be very helpful for Astrea, but the Phoenixes will not be that helpful.
I mean, hear me out, Steadfast. You can lift all the Ravagers, and then as the Disruptor shot goes off, you just drop all the Ravagers. I mean, we actually, was that a Goblin game? We did see that happen in Europe.
King Cobra did it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he pulled off an amazing wombo combo, dropping a bunch of Stalkers into a bunch of, well, into 2 Purification Novas, and he ended up killing, like, I don't know, 12 of them. Just a huge pimp play out of King Cobra. That was pretty awesome. Well, +2 melee is done, by the way, for Scarlett. So these Lings, they pack a punch, and if she gets any Banelings in on top of a mineral line, that could just be lights out. They are speed Banes as well.
And the thing here as well is I don't think the Phoenix are going to catch, well, okay. They might catch Scarlett a little bit off guard, and okay, who goes double Stargate Phoenix here? It doesn't make a lot of sense, but she has 4 spores. She has a spore per base. At the very least, we're not going to have one of these scenarios where it goes from no Stargate understanding to massive amounts of Phoenix immediately, but the Phoenix do get their lifts, and these Ravagers will fall. Actually, we don't have a lot of Queens on the map. It's only 5, and they're going down pretty quickly here, so at least the Phoenix, they represent threat that way, but shots go forward on the Disruptors, or excuse me, on the Banelings, but Disruptors haven't sent their Novas out just yet. 5 probes have died, and that's the big deal. Massive run by into this 4th base here. It's an entire mineral line all about to get wiped on down. Meanwhile, Scarlett trying to make something happen here. Big Novas on the right side, but still the Disruptors, at least one of them will fall. More worker damage here. Scarlett is going to lose the majority of this army, but she's killed 30 workers, and as Lings continue to flood forward, I don't think that there is going to be enough. Phoenix against Lings do absolutely nothing.
That is correct. Oh, nice last second split against the Disruptors, and as they fall, so too to Astrea's chances in this game. Scarlett wipes out Astrea in game number 1. Well done by the Queen of Blades.
Steadfast, I hope you you charged a premium on that build. Because, hey, that was well played by Scarlett, but also good job, Coach Steadfast. Well done. What do you have for us for map 2?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I wasn't here prepared with 2 builds ready to go. I just had the 1. But let's see. What do we think's a good idea? What do we think is a good idea?
I mean, I feel like we need to go pure in A. Go for the Ling drop Nidus build that Starkiller has used before. That seems like fun. You get it's like a 3-minute layer. You put 8 Lings across the map and an Overlord, and that buys room for the Nidus to pop down, which then you put a bunch of Queens at the front, then put a Lings behind. It's a meme, but North America is full of meme builds. I think that's the play. I don't know that you do it on Cosmic, though.
Yeah, Cosmic Sapphire might be a little tricky to make something like that happen. There is a very large main base, and a Nidus Worm could be pretty dank, not gonna lie. But I'm just so happy that she was able to make the win happen with that. That actually brings me so much more joy than anyone could ever understand.
Oh, I mean, if I would, yeah, I understand. I mean, I found a lot of joy out of this game from watching it, and I didn't provide the build. So, you know what? That was a fun game. I don't know, though. I was about to say, what do we want to give to Astrea, but we're already into game 2, so we can talk about that as we get into it, because folks, maybe for the last time here today, we're going to get into game 2.
And here we go, spawning down in the bottom right. Does she have any other cheeky tricks? Maybe I messaged her a little something else. Let's see, spawning down in the bottom right for the Shopify Rebellion, it's Scarlett. Spoiler, I didn't.
In the upper left now, in the red, no probot on the map just yet, playing very greedy, is Astrea.
But you know who's got a worker on the map?
Does her name start with S and end with Scarlett?
It certainly does. And she is going to be going for a hatch at her opponent's location. But it's a Nexus burst, and he gets it down. Oh, my God.
No.
Oh.
I really hope they're... Obviously, you don't want them to be able to see each other's screens, but I really hope they're in the same room right now, because I just want the cackling.
Oh, she's going to lose the fight. Oh God, where's the other probe? It's going for the cutoff. Oh, the regeneration. Does she drop the... No, okay, she's not going to drop the proxy hatch. This is so bad for Scarlett. Nexus first versus a failed hatch block. Aye, that is not a good situation for it. The Queen of Blades here.
And remember, Steadfast, she has to 2-0s.
Yes.
She has to 2-0 in order to take over Astrea. Game one was okay. She's just gonna take. Okay, well that's one way to use it. You're gonna take your third base. The drone is already on the map, minimizing a disastrous situation. But 19 drone third, it makes sense that Scarlett is playing in Korea, because this used to be how all the Korean Zergs would play. All the Europeans would go 28 hatch. That's fine. But this quick third hatch, it means your queens are a little bit slower, but you do have that extra larva on the third base a little bit faster. You have a little bit more creep on the map. It kind of is very much 6-way, half dozen the other, but as the builds have started to develop, as meta has developed, it's kind of become obvious or become evident that the European opening is maybe a little bit better. But again, Scarlett making the best out of bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty brutal situation, but we'll see if she can salvage it. It is going to be double Chrono Boost on the Adept here in order to get these across the map quickly for a while. Nexus first into just like pumping Adepts was a pretty good build around the beginning of Legacy of the Void. It was something that was rather nasty to deal with, and it did pair well up with the Stargate Astrea. Is it going to be Stalker Sentry, or is it going to be more Adepts here? Well, it's going to be a Stalker, and it's going to be something else. But it is going to be a Stargate behind this for Astrea. Now, I was wondering if Scarlett was maybe going to go for a fake speed into like some kind of Roach Ravager pressure. But nah, she's got nothing like that on the mind. These Adepts do have to be a little bit careful right here. Lane speed is looming pretty quickly, and Astrea should know that 330 timing is coming very quickly.
And it is important to note here that Scarlett was able, because of the Overlord positioning, it's not that this is 2 Adepts instead of 1. So you may notice that, okay, there are a couple more Lings than you might expect. 8-10 Lings on the map. Again, that's because you want 4 Lings per Adept just to keep yourself safe. And the Overlord stays alive, so it's not even going to get punished. And Scarlett, 3 queens at a time here, really locking down her early game defense. Early game map control, production, all that fun stuff. And Astrea heading in 2 more Adepts as he tries to take his third, but Ling's already there, so nice job, Scarlett. We'll delay this third base. An already somewhat delayed third base, to be totally fair. Generally, you're looking at 330, 340 timing. It's over 4 minutes. This is very nice for Scarlett right now. Small advantages trying to claw her way back into this game.
Yeah, and she's going to go for another probe. She will find it here. Very nicely done. Astrea is going to try and find an opening with this Oracle, but 4 queens. He was not expecting that much firepower against that Oracle, and, you know, focused a little bit on the defense at home. Scarlett, I would say, equalizes the loss of, or well, I guess the failure to block that Nexus first. I would say this puts her right back into the game. You know, it wasn't a huge lead for Astrea, but it was a nice little start for him. Scarlett, though, able to deflect that Oracle initially. Now she's got to be very careful about this big Adept push. If Astrea commits in, could be very dangerous, but also if Astrea commits in and loses all these Adepts, it would be scary as well. So that's why he's actually going to shade backwards here. He wants to get some of the drones. Scarlett able to save all the drones there, but does lose 4 in the natural expansion. Did she kill any of the Adepts?
Yeah, she got
one Adept. Yeah, so still very good trade, I would say, for Astrea. And now it's going to be charge and +1 attack. Maybe just a big charge while Archon all in coming in from Astrea. Let's see.
Yeah, that's how Astrea has been playing out of this hero opener, I guess. It's just really an Oracle opener, but that is how Astrea has been playing. We saw, of course, hero. He gets a bunch of Blink Stalkers, and whether he goes single forge, double forge, what the timing is when he gets his Blink, those are all variables. But Astrea has been pretty commonly now going for charge, going for Archons, hitting it around the 7 minutes with a bunch of charge lots, a bunch of Archons. And if you are Scarlett, who is so good actually against the hero style, this plays very counter to how you want to play. Lots of Lings, +1 melee. They don't do a lot against a bunch of charge lots and a bunch of Archons. So Scarlett will have to scout this out, and it's kind of hard to scout out unless you get the vision on the Templar Archives, and then make sure that she has roaches, make sure she has Bailey Nest in time. Otherwise, charge lot Archon just kind of runs right on through, but good queen positioning here from Scarlett, and she will force the Oracles back a little bit more. Honestly, though, as we move into this game, kind of even going into the mid game.
Yeah, reasonably even, but she's got no Roach Warren. And the Templar Archives just finished on up. We got 4 more gateways about to pop as well. She sees the gases at this third base, and she starts up a Hydra Den. She's gonna have a tough time holding this push. If you can get Hydras out, if you can get Banes out as well, which once again she does not have a Baneling Nest. If it's gonna be Hydra Ling actually versus Charge Lot Archon, oh boy, am I ever scared for Scarlett.
Yeah, this is very much not good. Scarlett's reading this as if this is hero style Blink Stalker. So notice she's on 5. She's actually taking her 6th base, but getting all these additional hatcheries, you just want tons and tons and tons and tons of Lings. But they don't fight this army at all. Now Scarlett, as the army starts to move on creep, she will have finally get the scout that she's looking for, and she's got a big run by. She has to force this army back home, but there's a Stalker and an Immortal in the mineral. And that being said, ooh, but good warp in there from Astrea. It's just, this is not going to get in, but okay, she's actually, the pylon's going to go down, but there's a second one there powering that. But what this does is exactly what Scarlett needed. She is forcing that army back home. The Archons, the Zealots, they rotate back, and that gives her time. +2 on the way, 11 Banelings on the way, Baneling speed on the way, and she's not there yet, but it lets her at least get a little bit closer to the army that she needs.
Yes, that is a really big moment that Scarlett just kind of survived right here. She's going to try and get a warp or a cancel on this 4th base, but she'll see the Zealots, she'll see the Archons. There's going to be a Zealot warping into the main base, most likely. Astrea. Oh, he selected the Warp Prism, but he didn't actually turn it into its phase mode just yet. I'm wondering why he's not actually warping in here. Did he just not have a warp pin available? What's the... Oh, Oracle does go down. Yeah, oh, there we go. There's the warp pin coming on in, but it feels like that is so late relative to when it should have come down. Scarlett will find a Queen kind of tanking a lot of this damage, and a nice Transfuse is going to keep it alive for the moment. Now the Hydra's out on their DPS, and that Queen, wow, somehow survives. I feel like that was such a scary moment for Scarlett, and not that much came of it.
2 drones in a Spore. At this point, when you're on almost 80 workers, when you are on 5 bases already, and a 6 hatches, that's nothing. That is really minimal. So Scarlett, I think understanding the game state that she's in, first of all, you know, going Hydras, and if you're ever in Scarlett's Discord afterwards, you'll see a bunch of complaining about Hydras after even games that she wins. But Hydras, questionable units. Infestation Pit is on the way. Scarlett moving on to that next level of tech, because that's where she has to go. This army that she has can fight, and it's in a much better position to fight than it was a minute ago against all these charge lots, against all of these potential Archons. But there's another warp in right now, and it seems like Astrea doesn't want to take advantage of this timing that he may have. He's sitting here playing greedy, sending warp ins in, but both players seem pretty content to move to the next stage of this game.
Which is a little bit surprising that we're not seeing like a carrier transition or something coming in from Astrea. He is getting his +2 weapons, is very nearly done. Starts up Blink as well, and adds on a couple more gateways, but no real big advancement of tech here, which is... Against Hydras, I feel like it's such an easy decision to try and go up into carriers. Like, you know, you obviously have to be a little bit safe about it. Maybe that means you build some extra static defenses at these bases. But Astrea's already got that. And well, as I say it, there is the carrier transition coming on now. 2 more Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. This one, we may be buckling ourselves in for a bit of a longer game here. As this carrier transition, oh my god, look at the traffic jam in the main base of Scarlett. Yeah, we're here on the 405, and there's just a whole lot of Banelings. Looks like they are made of acid and some kind of monstrosity thing that has an energy bar above it. Yeah, it's just really slowing things down here on your commute.
Yeah, unfortunately, acid tends to melt car tires. So...
and the whole car.
Yeah. Okay, not the windshield. Glass doesn't really react. Well, actually, I don't know if safety glass reacts, but like normal glass doesn't react to acid all that much. Zealots are going to find a spine and burk it down right as it arrives. Hydras are going to deal with this for a little bit, but now it seems like Astrea is getting ready. He's got a ton of storms. He has so many storms ready, but we have 5 lurkers just about ready to hit the field. So I really would have preferred to see Astrea move out like a minute earlier, take advantage of this. But actually, High Templar, or excuse me, the lurkers are very close together. So Storms can do a pretty good job here. It looks like Scarlett, for the most part, has dealt with these run-bys. There we go. The Warp Prism in the main base is knocked down. Bailey's knocked down the last of these Zealots. Storms, though, drop on top of all of the lurkers. They're just going to get shredded here. Actually, wait, not all of them. 3 are still on the back line. But Scarlett it doesn't seem like Astrea is going to be able to push in here. Even with all these storms, Scarlett setting up a wonderful concave, and actually Lings run right on by. They want to go for a run by once again. 6 probes have already gone down, and I don't think this 5th base from Astrea stays up.
It is certainly going to be tough to defend. Scarlett elects to pull back here. She says, I want to focus on the defense here. Looks like the lurkers did get picked off by this push on in, but now the Lings come back on the backside. Storms galore, but we're going to see just about every High Templar going down. And Scarlett, she will take some losses, but she is going to take a heavy toll on this army. Oh, does target down the 1 Immortal, almost gets another, and ends up getting 3 of the Immortals. 4 Immortals in total. 2 Archons, 3 High Templar. A lot of high-tech units going down for Astrea, but here comes the carrier transition.
By the way, Astrea, he killed 1 of his own Archons and 3 of the High Templars with that storm. He just was panic storming all over the place. He had to make something happen, but it just was not enough. Zealots on the run by on this 5th base of Scarlett, but now with lurkers here, the base is dead. But this is not a position that Astrea can fight into all that easily. 3, oh, those Immortals are so exposed. But Scarlett not opting to commit, and the Zealots actually getting a decent amount of damage done here. The drones, they have to run away. There's not a lot defensively. Scarlett, she got damage done, but this run by is starting to equalize at least some of that.
I don't think it's done enough to equalize yet. Scarlett loses 7 drones, but Astrea lost his freshest, newest base. And that is going to make affording these carriers very difficult, especially while also going for High Templar here. Scarlett definitely has a tempo advantage at this point. Her adaptive talents is now finished on up. The big problem is, of course, if we see a critical mass of carriers come on out, Scarlett does not have a Spire. She does not have any Carapace upgrades. She's got 99 drones, but she does not have an answer yet to those carries. There we go. Spire comes on down now. If she can get Lings into one of the bases of Astrea, could still be a terrifying situation for Astrea. But if he can survive, up to a decent little carrier count, it's going to be so difficult for Scarlett to break him.
Well, that was how she beat Disc down 21,000 resources or when Disc had a 21,000 resources in the bank yesterday. She just got on top of all the production. Disc did not rebuild his Stargates, and, well, was kind of dead despite having that massive bank. And that was a game that Scarlett came back from being insanely far behind. In this game, she's actually in a pretty good spot here. Storms don't really land, and notice what Scarlett's doing on the other side of the map. She's got creep down on the other position that Astrea could try to expand to, so he has to defend this position. And as much as you talk about no Spire, true, that's a problem. There's no Vipers, also a problem. And Scarlett does not have Carapace upgrades, which are so key here, especially as carriers go to +1, especially as they do go to +2. Because otherwise the Hydras, they just absolutely melt. This run by is not going to get anything done, and the base of Astrea going to go down for a second time. Astrea still locked on those 4 bases, and it doesn't care. It doesn't matter how big your army gets to at a certain point. If you have no money, it does not matter.
And Scarlett has now finished up 1 of her Spires. She's got another one ready to go pretty soon to start up those double upgrades. She starts up +3 attack, +1 Carapace for her ground. This is starting to look more and more like Scarlett could just eclipse Astrea and take first place in the group. She needs the 2-0 in order to do it. It's not over yet, but she has got a bank. She is starting to build it. She's going to be able to get up into the counter to those carriers with the Corruptor Viper. But the carrier count is continuing to rise, and Astrea's army is incredibly scary.
That it is, but unless Astrea is able to punch through into the tech, the fact that this army is scary doesn't matter all that much, because Scarlett's going to want to take multiple fights against it. You pair off some, you remax, you pair off some, you remax, until she hits the insane 15 Broodlords, 30 Corruptors, 20 drone type late game, and we're not there just yet. Of course, the bank of Scarlett does continue to increase, but she has still 1 base that she can take, as this War Prism will finally go on down. A couple drones fall, but at this point, again, I maybe even want to lose those, but here comes the push from Astrea on the right side. We see 1 Oracle goes down immediately. The Hydra's got to kite backwards. Those Storms are still terrifying, but these Spores are actually doing a great job of anything. Those Storms on the backside, though, forcing the Hydras again back a little bit further, but Lurkers, they burr up. Once again, Scarlett will lose this base. But I don't know how much more she gets from that, and great Abduct, though, on top of actually, 1 carrier is struggling to fall, because there's just not a lot of Corruptors here, Steadfast.
Yeah, they were chasing that War Prism. Well, there was only 6 on the field. Anyways, one of these carriers does get left in the dust, and the combined Hydra Corruptor firepower will take it down. The Loco composition as a bit of a meme as that is. Oh, the storm! That just did like so much damage. Doesn't kill a lot of the lings though. And a nice cancel on the warp in. Oh, the banelings! Oh, the recall is, well, not going to save them. Battery overcharge will get target fired down, and the stalkers are going to fall. Still a good trade in the net for Scarlett. In fact, a very good trade, I would say.
That was such a panic click. He wanted to shield battery overcharge. And he did, yes. But he also recalled the units he was trying to overcharge, so they couldn't fight. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know that that is going to be the single thing that wins or loses Astrea this game, but still, cost-effective trade for Scarlett, and now she has much more Corruptors on the field. She has Carapace for these Hydras. They're still scared of Storm, of course, but at least they fight the Interceptors a little bit better. Adding in some Infestors actually would be rather nice for the Shroud. But as the Interceptors pop out, you don't want to take that fight. Scarlett, back up. Take another way. She has so much dead airspace to work with.
That she does, and she knows that Astrea is not on a 6th base yet, and he is a ways away from that. Actually, Astrea, hang on. He might just be saying, screw it, I've taken too much damage. He throws down 5 additional Archons. I think he's just going to try and go for one big, massive punch and hope to just end the game. And Scarlett, seeing these Archons, she either needs to morph in more Lurkers or she needs to get Broodlords on the field, because just the army she has, it feels like isn't going to cut it.
No, she's going to be fight on run here. She's the entire bottom side of the map, the entire left side of the map. So there we go. 5 Lurkers on the way. Good feedback on one of the Vipers to start. But Storms and Interceptors dropping down on so many of these Lurkers. You said it, Steadfast. Astrea, this is his last army, but he's going to try to make as much possible happen. There are so many Storms. Over 8, probably 9 or 10 Storms here on top of the minerals, but that doesn't really matter. 10 Lurkers are on the way, but again, the Storms will land, canceling them once again. Astrea has caught Scarlett off guard, but here come Corruptors from the right side. That's going to be a lot of dead carriers. 1 will go down, dodging 2. 3rd one will go down. No, doesn't get it on the backside. Now the Corruptors, they got to run away from the Archons. But the carrier count continues to diminish itself. Problem though, Scarlett, she's got this bank, kind of. She's got 37 larvae, but she doesn't really seem to know what she wants to spend. It's 13 Hydras that are on the way. But 13 Hydras will not make this hold happen. Great feedback, gonna find a couple Vipers as well. And now here is the position that Astrea is looking for. Lurker Den is down. She can pretty much only make Broodlords and Hydras, and none of those are really the answer right now, not anymore.
Well, the Broodlords would have been the answer, but she needed to get in front of this army, and now she's trying to just squeeze out Hydras. If she could take down these Archons, she might be able to deal with this. Nice Storm on top of the Corruptors. The High Templar were a little bit out of position, but now they get some pretty nice Storms. A lot of Storms landing on these Hydras. Is there enough Storm energy to clear out this army? It looks like the answer is going to be yes. Astrea will survive and will hold first place in this group. Scarlett not able to get what she needed to deal with his army, and we are going to our final game of the day.
That was a fantastic call there from Astrea, realizing that he was not going to win the late game, the macro game. It just, his economy was too far in the dumpster. But he can build 5 Archons. He can build himself up to like 12, 15 Storms. And Scarlett had not made her transition to the fully late game army. She had tons of Hydras. And Steadfast, please tell me, how good are Hydras against really anything that the Protoss has?
Yeah. I have to go back to Hearthstone stream and his exclamation Hydra command. Hashtag tricked into Hydras is what comes up on that, and I can't help but feel like that is always correct.
No, I love it.
Can't help but feel that way.
Yeah, Scarlett has a new emote, by the way. That is a Hydra just peeking out of a trash can. That's what that is. Hydras can be solid in the mid game, but once you are on that number of Storms, it's not great. In fact, Hydras really, the only reason you get them in this matchup is to deal with the Blink Stalker compositions right now, or if you want to go to Lurkers. But Lurkers, actually, they time out against the carriers too. So I feel like this is the second game we've seen from Scarlett in DreamHack North America, where she's had this Hydra Lurker composition, no Broodlords this time, and then her opponent just hits her in the face with a bunch of carriers, a bunch of Sky Toss, and her army dies because it's not good enough. Same thing happened to Patty Mac in game 1 of that big upset. So, does that tell the future? Does Astrea come back, hit us with the 1-2 curse once again, or does Scarlett have the victory in the bag? Game number 3 is here to find out. It's Data C.
And here we go. Spawning down on the bottom left for Alpha X. It is Max Angel Astrea.
In the upper right, maybe a little bit quicker with her tech transitions, better with her reads in game at number 3. For the Rebellion, Scarlett.
Tough game, tough loss right there because, you know, she certainly would feel more confident against Trigger than against Neeb. I think even if Neeb, you know, on paper were to be the worst player, which I don't think he is. I think he's just phenomenal. Oh, we got a little cheeky fake cannon rush. This could turn into a real cannon rush very quickly, though, if he drops a Forge. But nope, it's a fakie.
And Scarlett's not buying it. She sends one drone down, just making sure, but nah.
The spray. Of course, these players are good friends. They know each other well. They're living together, and they're Astrea, I mean, he's the kind of player that you could never, ever in a million years actually hold a grudge or be upset against because he's just such a positive, awesome guy. But, like, look at the double GG spray. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, the benefits of it being a team kill. Yes, Astrea is on Alpha X and Scarlett is on Shopify Rebellion, but they train together in Korea together. They are in the Foreigner team, the Unity House. It's effectively a team kill. So yeah. You got that second level of practicing together a lot. They're very good friends. It does lead to some glorious memes.
It certainly does. It certainly does, and we have already seen a little bit of that. We're going to see Astrea going for the Stargate once again. Not a big surprise. The surprise would be if it wasn't a Stargate. Astrea's like, yeah, it's fine. You only build 2 lings, but I won't deny your hatchery. I'll let you get it up. That's okay. We're friends. I'm not gonna block this hatch and be a jerk. Which he could have.
What a kind of generous man Astrea is. But steadfast. For right now, pretty much this game is opening the same from Astrea. Game 2 and Game 3. I mean, that's fair. I guess actually Astrea got more adepts, but I think that was in response to the attempted and failed hatch block. Does Astrea go for charge again? Or does, in this game number 3, does he go for the more standard hero style?
That's a good question. I think it's a little bit too early to call at this point. He is a big fan of the Charge Lot Archon, of course, but he doesn't have to go for that. Certainly does not have to go that. Now, Scarlett, is she going to be... I mean, it's a completely different setup from Game 2 because, like, it was Nexus first into failed hatch block, and, you know, this is a much more standard opening. But is she going to try and go for something sneaky and tricky again in this game? I'm not too sure. We'll have to see. We'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah, I could see it. I think the more Astrea opts into a standard game, so like that, or the standard kind of hero style with the blink and the +1 and that timing, I think the more comfortable she will be, as in she has been kind of almost leading the meta in the response to that specific style. But as we saw in that previous game, it seems like that is her response always. So if you play something a little bit different, say charge instead of blink, then you might find a little bit of a leg up as that probe will go down. And honestly, I don't know, we didn't have a lot of time. I don't think Astrea went back and looked at that previous game too much, but I think if he did, he would find that he had a pretty significant timing window where he could have made a lot of stuff happen with that Charge Lot Archon. Instead, he opted into a later game, and he eventually won, but he won from a deficit. He won from a deficit in a game where he had pretty significant advantages in the early to mid game.
Absolutely, yeah. He certainly was not in a comfortable spot initially. Nice defense, by the way, from Scarlett. Astrea does still find an edge since there was no Spore Crawler in the main base, but could have been a lot worse for her, and instead she only loses 2 drones. So good job from Scarlett, I would say, even though, you know, good job from Astrea to find that opening. Just good job from both of them.
Yeah, so +1 on the way for Scarlett. +1 melee is just one of those upgrades that, okay, if this is charge, maybe not as impactful, but you'll always find value. They make run bys better. They make it harder to hold on to positions. Getting Ling, if you're going to focus on Lings, having that upgrade is really nice. But there we go. Charge is on the way. Robo halfway done. So Astrea doing the same thing he did in Game 2. But I wonder this time, weigh A, whether Scarlett is going to get a better scout of it, and B, whether Astrea is actually going to lean into that tech advantage that he's building for himself, potentially building for himself.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see if that is the case. We do have a much quicker Baneley nest this time from Scarlett. That's going to keep her a lot safer. We do see a well-placed Spore in the natural, but it's not going to be enough with only one Queen there. Oh, it feels like the Lings actually kind of body blocked or slowed down the Queen a little bit. 6 kills do come on in. This is a Foracle build, by the way. We got a 4th Oracle being built. 2 groups of double Oracle. Never seen that. That is cute. I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty fancy. They've gotten 6 workers right now, which is kind of what you get on triple Oracle anyways, but this also unlocks, actually, this really adds tons of power to the charge lot idea. So 5 to 6 gateways are on the way. And then if you're going to try to hold this with Lings, as Scarlett again, Ling into Hydra. And this army, this composition that Astrea is building, absolutely dumpsters that.
Yeah, it is going to be incredibly tough if it is a dedicated push towards this. Now, Scarlett does get in, denies the 4th Nexus for, you know, maybe, what is that, like 15 seconds? That's pretty nice. But Astrea still can just push across the map. He is building this War Prism. He has a lot of potential to get a lot of damage done. Nice dodge from Scarlett here. She avoids losing a lot of mining time to this Stasis Ward. Ooh, second refresh on the Stasis Ward will come on in. Scarlett, though, she's going to be able to avoid it once again. Good job.
She does lose a couple more drones to the stasis. It's unfortunate, actually. So a stasis unit triggers stasis traps. So technically, yes. And I've seen this actually happen a couple times, and pro players seem to insist on sacrificing more workers to it, where you just pull everything back and the stasis triggers once again. At the end of the day, it's 2 more workers. It's not really the end of the world, but it's just worth pointing out because that is some way to just maximize your efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we are going to see a rather tiny army from Astrea showing up here. The War Prism does get deflected in the main base, so he needs to really actually just go home with this small charge lot Archon force. Yeah, I don't even want to call it a force. Like, this is like a, you know, this is like a book club. Like, there's like barely anybody here.
The Outriders, a scouting force, expeditionary squad. But these queens, they're trapped in a corner here. Oracle's getting so much damage done. Scarlett's not reacting to this all that quickly. Now she's there. But 10 workers go down. All the queens in the main base will fall, and Baneleys are good, so Zealots will die eventually, but we will lose the Spores as well. 1 Zealot will be left behind to sing the songs of his brethren as the rest escape. But that is good damage. We see there's Oracles trying to dive in, it looks like, to the 4th base, but they don't. Oh no, they get 5 more workers here. Astrea, that quad Oracle setup played like this is actually finding so much value in this game.
It is finding a tremendous amount of value. It is a very cool way to play. Astrea has always been the kind of player who just does what he wants. And I love that so much. He doesn't care necessarily what the meta is. Oh my goodness. He is going to play what he thinks is fun. And he is going to be having fun. He is triple the efficiency of Scarlett right now. Scarlett does get into the hive. She's getting into the lurker den once again. And now another second Evo chamber. But this is feeling like it's a pretty solid position here for Astrea in this game.
That being said, Scarlett's getting the hive a lot faster than she did in game number 2. And if this game is something that, well, both players are going to try to force into the late game just because of how they choose to play this, getting into that hive faster means faster Broodlords, it means faster Vipers, means faster 3/3 upgrades, faster Adrenal, all of these things that are useful. As this Stasis doesn't seem like, it's going to get 1 drone. Not quite as impactful as killing 15 workers that Astrea got earlier, but Astrea is maxed out steadfast, and that's a massive stasis in the natural. I'm sorry. Those Oracles are finding a little bit more, Scarlett not returning them to mining just yet, because here comes the army of Astrea looking to punch on in 5 Archons, tons and tons of Storms, and just enough charge loss to season everything well. Let's backside too. There's so many stasis traps here, but Baneleys, they're looking for a counterattack. They're not looking for the surround. I don't know that you can take this fight from the front though. With Scarlett, those Storms are fantastic.
You absolutely cannot take this fight from the front. Scarlett's supply just got obliterated. There's Zealots in the natural, in the 3rd, in the main base. With 31 drones going down and the main